What happens when a mob boss robs his own bank? This isn't your typical bank with marble walls and security guards. This bank was hidden inside a fur storage business on a quiet Providence street. Throughout the 1970s, men in expensive suits would visit with dirty money. The customers weren't regular people. The vault didn't advertise. It didn't need alarms. Its security was simple. Everyone knew these boxes belonged to the Satriarcha crime family. So when 8 men walked in one August morning in 1975 and emptied 146 safety deposit boxes, Providence didn't just lose money, it lost its biggest secret. And in organized crime, secrets are everything. To understand why this robbery shocked everyone, you need to understand what they hid. The bonded vault company was hidden inside Hudson Fur Storage at 101 Cranston Street. This business stored winter coats during summer, but behind the furs and front counter, past ordinary doors, sat a room full of oversized safety deposit boxes. Each box was about 2 feet by 2 feet and 4 or 5 feet deep, big enough for shoe boxes full of cash or expensive jewelry. The vault's client list was unofficial but obvious. Everyone in the neighborhood knew without anyone saying it out loud. The New England mob used these boxes like normal people use bank accounts. When your business runs on cash, you need somewhere to put it where the IRS won't find it, and your enemies can't touch it. The vault solved that problem, but it also created a bigger one. The man whose name controlled that room was Raymond L Satriarcha. From a small office on Atwells Avenue, he ran a crime empire that stretched from Providence to Boston. Even when he was in prison, he still made decisions. His orders traveled where he couldn't go. People listened to him. By 1975, he had incredible power. People worked for him. People owed him money. And if you owed Raymond Satriarcha and forgot about it, he would remind you.
I'm aware.
This power is what kept a fur storage warehouse working as a criminal bank. It wasn't steel walls or cameras or guards that protected it. It was Raymond Satriarcha's reputation. His reputation was the lock on every box. That's why what happened on the morning of August 14th changed everything. It started just after 8 a.m. One man, Robert the Deuce Dusso, walked through the front door. Dusso was good at playing roles. He had steady hands, a calm voice, and knew how to move without drawing attention. He was armed and ready to act. Within minutes, he had rounded up 5 Hudson Fur employees. He put pillowcases over their heads. The pillowcase wasn't just to blind them, it was to make them disappear as people. Don't be a hero, he told them. There are rules to robberies like this, and he followed them. Then Dusso opened the door for the others. 7 more men came in, one by one. You could tell they had rehearsed this. Charles Chucky Flynn, Joe the dancer Denise, Gerald Jerry Tillinghast, Ralph Burns, Jacob Tarzian, John Ouimet, Walter Ouimet. These names would be in newspapers later, but right now they were just shapes moving around a quiet room. They barely spoke to each other. When they did, they called each other Harry. Everyone was Harry. In a crime where the smallest detail could get you arrested, they removed every detail they could control. Inside the vault room, their plan hit a problem. They planned to drill small holes to get into the boxes quickly. But steel is tough. These boxes weren't decorative. The metal fought back. The morning was passing while drill bits burned out and the men got tired. Time was running out. So they switched to crowbars. They used leverage and brute force. When you're prying open a steel door, every sound gets louder in a vault. The crowbars bit into metal, the men pushed with their shoulders, and the box doors screamed as they opened. There might be no sound more criminal than metal, giving up to impatience. They worked through the room methodically, box after box. The air smelled like oil and sweat. Inside that room were people's futures, turned into cash and hidden away. A store owner's secret savings, a bookie's weekly take, a loan shark's insurance money, bags stuffed with rubber-banded bills, gold bars heavy enough to hurt your wrist if you weren't ready, loose diamonds that looked like glass until light hit them, guns that had been used for things nobody wrote down. In a robbery like this, you start thinking strange thoughts. You might pause for a second looking at a jeweled cup and wonder what terrible story ended to pay for it. Then you get back to work. There were 146 boxes. You don't stop to think. You empty them. By the end, their duffel bags were so heavy they looked painful to carry. This is where the numbers get confusing and stay confusing. Some people say they stole around $2 million. Others say it was as high as $30 million. If you're looking for an exact record that says, "Today we stole this much," you won't find it. That's the point. If you run an illegal bank for criminals, you don't keep official records. What everyone agrees on is that the take was huge for that time and place. The consequences couldn't fit in those bags. They left without sirens or Hollywood-style car chases. The city went back to normal speed while a handful of men drove out of Providence, carrying enough wealth to change their lives forever. Where do you go after a heist like this? Not home, not anywhere you've been before. You go somewhere that can handle what comes next. The crew ended up at a hideout in East Providence. This is where they went from being a team to being individuals again. Everyone was thinking about what this money meant. A fresh start, an escape route, higher status. A way to fix problems they hadn't admitted they had. They split up the easy part first, cash. $64,000 each. That's life-changing money in 1975. The rest, the gold, the diamonds, the hard-to-explain valuables, would need to be sold through criminal contacts. That would take time. Time requires patience. After a rush like this, patience is hard to find. Robert Dusso didn't have patience. He went to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is designed to catch guys like him. Money that comes fast usually leaves fast too. When you're winning, you feel like you were right all along. When you're losing, you feel like one more bet will fix everything. Whatever happened exactly, his cash disappeared into the desert. Losing money is a headache. Drawing attention is dangerous. When you act like someone who just robbed a vault, bragging, being reckless, getting noticed, you become a problem for your partners. The kind of problem that gets solved permanently if someone makes the right phone call. According to some stories, there was talk about killing Dusso. Charles Flynn was supposed to do it. But friendship won over business, at least for now. That kind of mercy doesn't usually last long. Back in Providence, the investigation had more than rumors to work with. One of the employees, the pillowcase was thin enough to see shapes and faces, gave police enough information to start putting names to the robbers. Sometimes in investigations, one whisper breaks the whole case open. This case had plenty of whispers. Someone connected to the Patriarcha organization gave police names. Once you unlock one door, you can see into more rooms. Police pressure increased. What kept the vault closed couldn't keep the city's curiosity away. January 1976. Dussow's luck ran out in Las Vegas. He was arrested. There are many ways to make someone talk, and they don't all involve yelling. You can show them what their future looks like and let them decide if they want to live there. You can tell them stories about who's still alive, who isn't, and how little loyalty matters when you're facing a long prison sentence. Whatever they did, Dusso started talking. He cooperated with police. Soon after, another crew member, Joe Denise, did the same. Two voices from inside the vault were now facing outward, describing what the city had felt but not seen. What they said did more than identify their partners. They made a claim that would define how people told this story forever. They said the heist wasn't an attack against the mob. It was ordered by the mob. Specifically, that Raymond Satriarcha had planned the robbery from prison. According to their testimony, the boss felt cheated. His share of profits was getting smaller while others were eating well. If you believe this story, the heist was Satriarcha's way of pulling money back to himself, a way to remind people what it meant to work for him. It's a neat theory. You can see why people believed it. But good stories and good evidence aren't the same thing. The accusation stayed an accusation. Police never charged Satriarcha with planning the heist. In a world built on rumors and reputation, that matters. It also keeps this story in a gray area where people argue about motives, like sports fans argue about referee calls. Did he do it? Did he need to? Or did the men below him use his name to justify their risk? The only honest answer years later is the most frustrating one. We know what some men swore to. We also know what the state couldn't prove. Between those two truths lives the legend. While people argued, the courtroom produced results you could write down. The trial that followed became the longest and most expensive in Rhode Island history. The justice system, built for smaller cases, had to expand to fit this one. Weeks of testimony, stacks of evidence. A jury trying to focus only on facts while ignoring the city's rumors. Employees described the morning from under their pillowcases. Investigators described what they found in trash and phone records. The cooperating witnesses explained how they planned it, executed it, and split the money. It's never easy to sit across a room from someone you once called a partner and point your finger at them. The trial stretched through 1977. Defense lawyers argued the cooperating witnesses were liars trying to save themselves. Prosecutors said the evidence spoke louder than loyalty. The jury had to decide who to believe in a world where lying was a professional skill. Charles Flynn took the stand in his own defense. He denied everything, said he was nowhere near the vault that morning, had alibis, had witnesses. But when your witnesses are criminals and your alibi depends on admitting to other crimes, the jury stops listening to details and starts counting contradictions. When the verdicts came, they didn't settle anything. They showed how complicated everything was. 3 of the 6 men on trial were convicted: Charles "Chucky" Flynn, Ralph Burns, and John Ouimet. 3 others were found not guilty: Gerald "Jerry" Tillinghast, Walter Ouimet, and Jacob Tarzian. If you want an ending where the good guys win and the bad guys lose, the underworld doesn't give you that. It gives you a scorecard that looks like a tie game and asks you to live with it. That's part of the punishment too. Flynn got 15 years, Burns got 12, John Ouimet got 10, They appealed, argued, complained about cooperating witnesses and prosecutorial misconduct. Nothing changed. The system that protected them outside couldn't reach them inside. Dusso and Denise, the men who talked, got lighter sentences, 5 years each for cooperation. In the criminal world, this math is simple. Betray your partners, serve less time. Honor the code, serve more time. Everyone understands the trade-off. Not everyone can live with their choice. The acquitted men walked out of the courthouse and back into a world that had changed around them. The vault was gone. The easy money was gone. The trust that made the whole system work was damaged. They were free, but free in a smaller world with more rules and fewer opportunities. Meanwhile, the room that started it all sat empty. The bonded vault company never reopened. Why would it? The one thing that made it valuable, the promise that money left there would stay there, was gone. You can't sell security after you've been robbed. You can't promise safety after you've been breached. The building became ordinary, a place for storing furs. Nothing more, nothing less. The extraordinary part, the part that made it worth robbing, disappeared the moment those crowbars started working. Raymond Patriarcha remained in prison through the trial. He watched the case from behind bars, saying nothing publicly about the allegations. He never admitted ordering the heist. He never denied it either. In his world, silence was often the safest response to accusations that couldn't be proven. He was released in 1978 and died in 1984. The question of whether he ordered the robbery of his own vault died with him. Some secrets stay secret.